Okay, well, I don't look the best right now, but I just want to say that I want to explain everything that's been happening to me. So back in back in January, I started. Basically, my health has been it's been rapidly declining since the last video, and um, I wanted to say that I wanted to go over the history, just what happened to me, so I can explain it, so that it can be documented. Um, I'm speaking pretty good now, but I think it's because I want to get all of this out. Um, but in January, I started to feel very anxious, very on edge, nervous for no reason. Then I would go out. That's what made me go out, to face my agoraphobia, because I thought that this was, I don't know, like the world telling me that I needed to like start working on myself again. So I was nervous and anxious every day. And then I started to, like a week or two later, I started to like have random fears about um, like lights, like sunlight, or like not sunlight, but like anything that was light. I just started to get anxiety because of it, like random fears. And then and then and then I just and then I had the random fears, and then I started to go to the group still, and then I ventured out more and more. Um, like I had checkpoints where I would pass, and those were on the videos. But I always told my friends, like, it's weird that I'm not feeling any fear anymore, because I passed the checkpoints and I didn't feel any fear. I started to feel like things were becoming unreal to me, like very unreal, like sort of disconnected, but not in the typical sense. It was more of like my brain felt like it was just damaged, like damaged somehow. But I didn't recognize that. I thought it was just me being very overly confident and improving somehow. So I kept going farther and farther. That's why you see in the videos, I'm going farther and farther. And then I still had random thoughts I was thinking about. I was not understanding the concept of time anymore, the concept of like the weekdays. And I was just not understanding anything, just losing understanding. And I was scared throughout this time, because I thought I was going insane. I thought I was going insane. But then the physical symptoms started to happen. Like I started to really fear the sunlight. Like I would sleep in more. I slept in like 10 hours during the day, and I was sleeping more, like excessively. And then I noticed that my heartbeat, it felt like I was, when I would lay down to go to sleep, it felt like I was, like my body was like going through like shock, or like it felt like it was like sinking, or like that feeling that you get when you like are about to fall asleep, and like your body twitches, and like you feel like yourself falling through the floor. That's how it felt like. But it was a weird feeling. It wasn't like the typical falling asleep feeling. I felt like my body was changing somehow. And then I started to notice like my sensations, like my feet were no longer ticklish, my hands were no longer ticklish. Like I felt less and less feeling, like my loss of sensations. I thought like it was turning into like rubber, like my entire body was turning into rubber. And I was getting scared. That's when I knew that something was really happening to me. One thing that I can say was that throughout this time, January, February, like around like March, around like March or something, March or January, March, April, like April or May, I got like these bites on my legs, my thighs. Like they're like circular marks. They're like a circle. They look like they had like bite marks, but it looked very similar to like ringworms. Um, I looked on Google, and that's the closest I can get it to. But there was like 6 of them, like on both thighs, and then there was like a couple like on like my butt or whatever, and they like were itchy, extremely itchy. They were open wounds, and I was itching them, and then like my whole leg, both my thighs would turn red, and my thighs were like numb because of it. They were like numb, and I kept itching them, and then I would just take showers to like clean it, and then they eventually just healed up. Kind of, they closed up, but I never got it checked out for some reason. But then I started to lose more sensations. I started to like not understand. I became like more confused, more disoriented, more like not recognizing like my own home anymore. Like I was like losing memory, like everything. I was losing it all, and that's when I was scared. I was like, this seems like a very medical situation, and then that's what made me go to Vallejo. I went to Vallejo, California, to get an MRI. But the first thing I did before that was I thought I was dying, and I was diagnosed with hepatitis C back in 2013. So I thought that I was dying because I never got it treated. So I said, if I'm dying right now, because I had loss of sensations, like my consciousness was like going away, like my understanding of everything. I was becoming confused, disoriented, having random fears. Like it felt like all these things were happening at once, and then I thought that I was having seizures in my sleep, because I would wake up and I would like remember like my head shaking in the middle of the night or something. So I always thought that there was something happening. But I called 911, and I wasn't even scared to do that. And at that point, I didn't even recognize myself. I didn't recognize everything. Like it felt like I just went crazy with all the physical symptoms. And then 911 came. They said, do you want to go to the hospital? And I had left my house for 8 years. And I said, if I'm dying, I need to go. And I made the decision to go. And I went there, and I was not panicking. I was kind of shaking my left leg, but it was like a thing that was doing it like on its own. It wanted to like, my left leg wanted to like move. And they just checked out my hep C, and that came back as mild, 0 to 1 mild scarring, which means like no damage basically. And so I thought, okay, that's good, but it didn't explain why I was confused, why I was having loss of sensations, like everything else. So I went back home, and I said, well, if it is, maybe it is a mental health thing, so maybe I'll just wait a day and see what happens. But then the very next day, I felt worse. Like I felt more disoriented, more confused. Like I knew that something was happening to me, because I was losing like all my fears. And I ended up going to get the emergency room, and I got a CT scan, and that CT scan showed up as nothing, and it was perfectly normal. And I was at the hospital by myself, alone, and I was not panicking at all. I was completely no anxiety, and that was very abnormal, because I always had anxiety, always had panic, agoraphobia. Lost all my emotions, lost all my fear, like everything just gone. And I knew something was happening very bad. And that came back as normal. And after that, I wanted to chase an MRI, so I went to get an MRI. And after that, I came back normal. And during this time, I was losing more sensations, like more understanding of things, like like watching movies like became like really weird to me. Like just everything about daily life became weird, and just not weird, but very like abnormal. Um, it was a weird thing, just losing like your cognitive functioning basically, and then but I waited for the results. And during this time, I was with my girlfriend. She stayed with me for 2 weeks because I was going through all this stuff. And I noticed that my heartbeat started to become more rapid. It developed into like a rapid heartbeat. And I would find out later that I would keep on getting something called sinus tachycardia. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. But I got that. But then I got the MRI results back. Nothing came back normal. And then I, saw a different doctor, and then she said that it could be like early dementia. And then I got like a pelvis scan, chest scan, things like that. And then like just like this area, like because she thought that it could show something, and then that came back normal. And then after that, I was just confused. I was like, what's happening to me? Like, what's happening? I started to like lose. I felt like my muscles weren't working that much. Like my legs started to feel like they weren't really like walking that well. And it started with my legs, and then after that, I would still try to find out what was happening to me. I went. Then it got worse. Like more fears, more basic understanding of things just going away. More loss of sensations throughout my body, and then I basically wanted to have my girlfriend came over to watch me more, and then we were just trying to figure what was happening to me. And I got like blood tests done, and everything else, and all that came back normal. And then I got like another CT scan. I got so many CT scans. Like my body has been put through so much stuff. But after the CT scans and everything, like everything was just coming back normal. Everything. And then because things were happening, I had to move to San Jose with my girlfriend. And during all these rides to these hospitals and stuff, I was more calm, more relaxed. Like my body felt like it was going into, like my muscles were like completely going relaxed. Like it felt like I always told people it feels like I'm going into a coma. It feels like I'm going into a coma. And like it's a scary feeling. And then I moved here, and then the first weeks we were chasing more hospitals, chasing more things. And then every single time my functioning was gone. Like my understanding of things, I just knew that my mind was like gone. Like something was damaging my brain, and I knew that I couldn't be saved at this point because a month had passed already, and it got worse. Like it got like a million times worse within a month. Like I started to have like hyperactive eyes. Like I was looking everywhere, like very hyperactive. And then I did an EEG in Oakland. Showed I have hyperactivity in my brain. So basically, then I had the random heartbeat. And then this is when I started to chase infections because I thought maybe I could have rabies, maybe I could have other infections, other illnesses. So I got tested for like rabies, I got tested for lupus, I got tested for Lyme disease. Because all those symptoms aligned, all the symptoms of rabies aligned with what I was experiencing, everything. All those symptoms, like hysteria, like just going crazy, like hyperactive, like losing loss of sensations, all that happened to, like was happening, is happening. And then it progressed to where like I lost myself completely. I was not myself. Like my behavior was changing. I was becoming more aggressive. I was becoming more irritated, very easily irritated, like snapping at everybody. Like that's how I am now. And like my mind's just gone. But during this time, I knew that something was killing me. So I wanted to experience life. So I wanted, because I lost fear, because I lost all my cognitive functioning, I decided to like learn how to drive. I decided to go to the movies. I decided to go to restaurants with my girlfriend. Like, my girlfriend taught me how to do everything. Well, experience life with her. Like, ate a lot of good food, ate a lot of, but throughout this whole time, I was still suffering with my stuff, like my brain, like my functioning, my whole body, everything. And but I knew that I wanted to create memories. And then I was still chasing doctors' offices, like getting a lot of blood tests, like a lot of all this stuff. Everything was coming back normal. The only thing that was, and a lot of Kaiser doctors would say, "Oh, you're just panicking. You just have anxiety," because my breathing started to change. I started to have very rapid breathing, very shallow, rapid breathing, and that's how it is right now. I've been to so many Kaiser doctors. So I went to Stanford. Every one of them. The only time that Stanford took me seriously was when I could no longer walk. So I was starting to not be able to walk. I was like peeing like on like myself, peeing like on other stuff. Like I was like I couldn't use the bathroom. Like I was losing all my functioning. And sorry, I'm like always out of breath now because it's like it's affecting my breathing now. Everything, like my whole breathing. But I went to Kaiser so many times like this, and they said it's anxiety, it's panic, and I started to have like more loss of sensations throughout these 3 months of living here. Like the feeling of like weight was changing for me. Like I started to feel like light as a feather. I started to like not understand like weight, because it like weight felt different now. Like everything about life just felt different. Weight, sensation. Like if you were to tap me really hard, it feels like a little tap. That's how my body feels right now. It feels like it barely feels pain. And I had like burning sensation throughout my entire body. I had like severe night sweats. Like I was drenched in sweat during the night times. That's why I thought it was. That's why I knew it was like a nervous system thing that was happening to me, because it threw off my heartbeat. I developed sinus tachycardia. It changed my behavior, my mood. It made me become like manic and like mania, or whatever you want to call it. Like just acting crazy, like acting like you had like no brain, like it was just gone. Like it feels like my brain's just like deteriorating. Like so, like my understanding of things, my like, and then like my hearing changed too. Like I don't know like how loud I talk. I don't know like how low I talk. And like the hearing changed. So I had like hearing changes, loss of sensations, sinus tachycardia, like hyperactivity, and then like my muscles feeling like very weak and like not relaxed, or very weak. I mean, and super relaxed. I mean, like it's like you, or just it feels like you have like anesthesia basically throughout your entire body. Like I can barely feel like my arms and like my hands and everything. Like I barely feel it. And I always felt pressure like around this area. Like all this feels like extreme pressure all the time. And now it's like my body just wants to shut down. It feels like my body's just completely shutting down on me. And now it's affecting my breathing. And but I was hospitalized at Kaiser for 4 days, breathing like this. And all they could say was it's anxiety. But I know it's not anxiety because I've had anxiety for 8 years. I had like slurred speech, and I developed everything like slurred speech, hyperactive eyes, sleep apnea, not breathing in my sleep, sinus tachycardia, you know, like loss of sensations, and like not being able to like smile. Like I can't even like smile properly. I can't like move my eyebrows that much. And I started to have like convulsions. I was doing this with my hand rapidly, and I couldn't stop it in the hospital. So I just want to go through the list again, just so I have it down. So sinus tachycardia, severe loss of sensations, hyperactivity, um, 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 like hysteria, like just hyperactive eyes, like bulging eyes, like always like open, super wide, looking around everywhere, like just hyperactive, and like I couldn't tell like if it was hot or cold that much, like hot flashes. Then I started to feel like burning throughout my entire body, and then to have like breathing problems, like breathing too fast. I have oxygen, but it's like it feels like my lungs aren't contracting. And I would like grunt breathing. I was like grunt breathing, like and that's how I feel like breathing now, like grunting, because I feel like my lungs aren't opening, they're closing. I feel like, and feels like I'm just slipping into a coma, basically. And I went to so many Kaiser doctors, none of them helped me. They saw that my white blood cell count would go up and down, and they just said it's probably because of stress. But I knew that I had an infection, or like I have an infection, but they're just always saying it's anxiety, it's panic, because they look at your history and they see that. And then they thought it was something called FND, which is like a glitch in your brain. But I knew that was bullshit too, because I have breathing problems, I have all this other stuff, and they're not episodes. It's getting worse every day. It got like 1,000,000 times worse every day. And now I've been to so many ERs, so many doctors that they can't even. I feel like whenever they poke me for like blood, like I'm not even, my blood's not even able to like, they're not even able to give blood that much, because I feel like whatever happened affected my heart rate, because it was like 150, 130 for like 3 months straight. And then now it's becoming the opposite. Now it's going in like the opposite way. It's like being very shallow, very low, like 75 beats per minute, 65 when I'm like at a hospital, thinking that like, I should be panicking. But like I said, my body, emotions, everything gone. Can't feel my heartbeat in my own chest anymore. Like can barely feel like weight on my chest. Like everything just, it's like your body just feels like jello. It feels like nothing. Like imagine feeling nothing in your body, like complete nothingness, or like as close as to it as you can get. And yeah, now I have the breathing problem, and I've been having this for 10 days chronically. But every time I go to the doctors for it, they just say it's anxiety. And so I tried to save myself. I tried to do the best that I could. I tried. I can't walk that well. I can't really talk that well. Before I wasn't even talking at all. I had like these moments where I wasn't talking for like days, weeks. But now I feel like I have to talk, to let all of this out, to let this be known that something happened to me. And they did a spinal tap as well, where they thought I could have an autoimmune disease, like bacteria and stuff, because like it attacks your nervous system, it attacks, then it attacks like your brain, at least like brain infection. But a lot of things can't be seen on CT scans and MRIs. Like not everything will show up there. Like not every brain infection or brain causing disease like that's caused by an infection will show up. So I might never, I don't think I'll ever get the chance to know what happened to me, but I want this to be documented, so at least it's known that I didn't give up, because I'm letting all this happen to me now, because I went to so many ERs, so many doctors, so many hospitals, and they all said like, you're not dying, you're fine. But there were so many indicators, the white blood cell count, all this other stuff, like my symptoms. I was hospitalized and then rushed to another hospital, Stanford. I went from Kaiser to Stanford because Kaiser wasn't taking. They would come in the room, look at me breathing, like pierced lips and like grunting, and they said they thought it was normal. They just walked out of the room. So I just wanted to be known that I fought my hardest to try to find out what was happening to me and what I could do to try to prevent it, at least find out what it was, so people would know that it wasn't just what the doctors or medical professionals were saying, like it was a mental health thing when I'm over there in random cities by myself now. Like, how do you go from 8 years of panic and anxiety and then you just lose all your cognition within a couple months? Obviously something was happening to me, but I thought it was a mental health thing at first. So that's why I was chasing the groups. That's why I made this YouTube channel, because I thought it was mental health. Well, I repeated 3 groups. I repeated all of that. Nothing happened. I didn't get better. I went from mental stuff, and then I went to physical stuff, and then now it's like emergency stuff, like breathing. And as I'm recording this, I feel the worst I've ever felt in my life. Like, I feel like I can pass away at any moment. And I'm allowing myself to go through this because I can't get any help from doctors or emergency rooms. None of them take me seriously anymore. So I just want everybody to know that I tried my best to hold on. I tried my best to try to see my family. I tried my best to try to see everybody. And I could very well pass away alone. But I had to make myself content with dying the last 3 months basically. And I was content with death, but then it became more scary, more scary. Like, it's I'm not gonna lie, like I am scared of it, because imagine your body feeling nothing. Imagine like your brain feeling like it's jello. Imagine not understanding basic things anymore. Imagine feeling like the lowest energy you've ever felt in your life. Like, imagine that. Imagine your mind, your body just wanting to slip away. That's what it feels like right now. It feels like I'm slipping away into like something that I can't stop. So I just want to say that I'm sorry that this didn't end how I wanted it to. I experienced life in San Jose. I experienced everything as much as I could. I drove in one day. I learned how to drive in one day. I was driving in the main streets of San Jose, California. I did a lot of stupid things. Because of this, it made my behavior change. It made me act more aggressive. It made me act very like an animal, basically, like rabid. It made me act like that. Like, not myself at all. Like basically like a crazy person, and I'm smart enough to realize that myself, and I'm the one in this body experiencing it. So I don't know what it was that happened to me, but I just want to say that I'm glad that I at least got to touch some people's lives. Even if it's one person, at least I got to do that. And I'm sorry to everybody else. I'm sorry to my girlfriend. I hurt her a lot during this time. Like, it causes anything that affects your brain will affect behavior, will affect everything. So I just want to make this video just to say that I fought. I tried my best. And I wish I would have had an answer. I wish I could improve. Because I don't want to go. I don't want to die. I don't want to. But I can't stop what's happening to me. I went to so many places, and a lot of places were very rude to me. Very rude to me. That's when I knew that a lot of people who have mental illnesses might be actually dying, because a lot of people say that they're dying, and people will look at them and say it's a mental health thing. But I'm the person who got chosen for this, unfortunately, and I know that it's killing me. So I'm making this video just to make it so it's known that I went to so many Kaisers, so many hospitals, so many doctors. They all told me I wasn't dying. They all said it was anxiety. They all said I was fine. I'm gonna live to be 60. I don't think I'm gonna live to see the end of this year. So I tried, guys. I tried. I love you guys. I'm sorry for not updating throughout this whole time. I should have been updating, but just to have the journey along. But that's the gist of it. Just me going to so many hospitals, so many doctors' appointments, then like trying to experience life at the same time, because I knew I was dying. So I was trying to experience life, doing things with my girlfriend. I went to my old middle schools. I went to like my old house that I grew up at. Like I traveled like through cities. I went across bridges. I went across everything. No panic, no anxiety, just a vegetable. I felt like a complete vegetable during this time. But I feel like my body's giving up now. Like it wants to give up. It wants to. And I don't want it to. I don't want it to, because I want to live with my girlfriend. I want to experience life. I'm sad about that. But I just want to say that I love you guys, and I'm sorry for not updating. I truly am. But I fought to the very end. I am allowing this to kill me because there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else. I've been to the ERs. I've been to everything. And I don't want to prove anything. I just would rather it do its damage than for me to, whatever. I want it to be known that something did happen to me. That's why I allowed it to do its thing. But I'm suffering, guys. I'm suffering outside of the hospital. I'm suffering like alone, basically. So the majority of the time I was with my girlfriend. But anyways, I just want to say I'm glad that I got to live at least a little bit. I finally made it out of my house. I finally did it. I'm living in a nice neighborhood now. It's a pretty neighborhood. And I tried Chick-fil-A. I tried In-N-Out again. Didn't do that in the longest time. I did mini golf. I learned how to drive. I saw movies. Went to like fancy restaurants. I drove a lot. Ate a lot of candy. Ate a lot of food. Experienced life, basically. And I want to say that I'm glad that I got to do that with my girlfriend. And I love her to death. And I wish I could have spent my entire life with her. It would have been the greatest thing in the world to be with her forever. And I'm sorry. I'm just sad that it has to be like this. Like, I wish that I could improve. I wish I could have found out what happened and caught it early on and improve. Because I try to do something with this channel. But I want to say I love you guys. But that's the gist of it. Just 3 months of going to doctors, 3 months of trying to figure out what happened to me. But my wish is that they find out what happened to me. They run all the tests that they need to run for autoimmune diseases and anything that affected the nervous system and caused like your muscles to stop working and like go into a coma. Anything that happened like that causes that, like that hyperactivity, all this other stuff. I want them to try to find out what happened if they can. But that's my understanding of what's happening to me. The research that I did was that it's killing my entire body to where my body will no longer be able to function fully. And I'm not saying I don't want it to happen, but who knows? My heart will stop beating, or I will slip into a coma, and then eventually pass away. But whatever happens, I just want everyone to know that I did my best, I tried, but yeah, that's about it. I got to live somewhat, I got to experience things somewhat, and I'm glad that at least I got to do that. But I love you guys, and thank you for everything. This is like a Hail Mary to make this video because I'm in the process of struggling. I just came out of the ER like 3 hours ago, and I wasn't better. It was actually worse. The more that they poke me and draw more blood, the worse I get, because I feel like my blood flow, like my blood pumping and stuff is not good anymore. Because whatever happened, it affected my nervous system, my heart, my brain, basically my entire body, everything. So I'm surprised I'm even able to like make this video and talk. But I think it's that one thing. I call it like bursts of energy. Like you know that something's happening to you, and instead of like withering away, you want to muster up your courage to talk. And that's what I've been doing. If you saw how I was in the hospital, you would look at me and say, how is this guy even talking right now? But I am trying to be strong. So I love you guys, and thank you for joining this channel, even though it only has like 10 subscribers. Thank you so much. And thank you for being a part of my life. And I'm sad that I won't get to see the progress, but at least I made it this far. I made it this far. That's all I can ask for. So I'm just forced to kind of, unfortunately, suffer outside the hospital. So I hope my family will sue Kaiser, sue somebody, because I begged them so many times. They saw me convulsing, they saw me shaking, they saw me grunting, breathing, they saw my breathing, they saw everything, and all they said was anxiety. All they said was anxiety or FND, something that I know I don't have, because they have episodes. This is chronic every day, minute by minute, gets worse. So I love you guys, and I love my family. Even though we went through like some hard stuff during this time, whatever. I'm sorry to my friends. I want to say I love my girlfriend, no matter what happened during this time. And Huey, you've been like very active on here. So I want to say good luck, and I know that you can do it. Just keep on doing it. You can do it. You'll get there. I have faith in you. Anything can be accomplished if you put your mind to it. Okay? So, I love you guys. I'm going to try to get some, not rest, because I don't even feel like I can rest anymore. Whenever I try to sleep, I feel like I'm going into a coma. So I try not to rest, because I don't breathe in my sleep anymore that much. So, anyways, see you guys. Who knows? But thank you for joining. And thank you for watching.